Hi guys, today we're going to talk about writing the equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to another line that goes through a specific point. What you need to know about a parallel line is that they have the same slope. Remember that slope measures how slanted a line is. So they would both be slanted in the exact same way. So in this case, the slope is positive 2, okay, which means the rise is 2 and the run is 1. So if I wanted to do another line that's parallel to that, it has to have that same slope. So let's say I go up here and I rise 2, run 1, and I continue that pattern. I'm going to go backwards, down 2 and to the left, down 2 and to the left. And you notice as I draw that line that these two lines are parallel. Okay, that's because they have the same slope. So if I want to find the equation, let's say I want to find the equation of a line that's parallel to y equals 2x minus 3. And let's say it goes through point 0.52. It needs to go through 0.52. Okay? So it goes right here. Now what I can do is I'm going to use this equation, the y equals 2x, but it's going to have a different y-intercept. It's going to have the same slope, but a different y-intercept. So we have to calculate that y-intercept. Since I do know a point or a coordinate pair, I know that 5 is the x, right? And 2 is the y. I can plug them into this equation. And so I know that y is 2, so I'm going to substitute 2 for y. I know that 5 is the x, so I'm going to substitute that in for x. And then I'm going to solve for b. Okay? So 2 times 5 is 10. So it looks like this. And then now if I want to get the b alone, I just have to subtract 10 on both sides. And I'm going to get b equals negative 8. So the equation of the line that goes specifically through this point, right, goes through this point and is parallel to this line, meaning they have the same slope, is going to be y equals, same slope, so it's still got 2x, and then it's minus 8. Okay, if I were to graph that, I'll start at negative 8. Remember, it has the same slope, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and you'll see, excuse my not so straight line. It will look like that. And all three of those lines are parallel because they have the same slope. So let's take a look at a perpendicular line. So we're going to still use that same line that I originally gave you, which is y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, and when we have a perpendicular line, the important thing to know about a perpendicular line is that the slope has an opposite sign, right? Because it's got to be going in a different direction for it to be perpendicular. And it's also the reciprocal. So instead of it being positive 2, it's going to be negative 1/2, right? And I just reversed the run and the rise. So it looks like this. And we don't know what the y-intercept is. If it's just a perpendicular line, it could go through any y-intercept, but we want this one specifically, let's say we want this one specifically going through point 4, 6, let's say, okay? So if I want that specifically going through 4, 6, I want you to recognize that 4 is the x and 6 is the y. So I'm going to use the equation again, and I'm going to plug in 6 for y. All right, so I'm going to just take this 6 here and plug it in for y. Okay, it looks like that. Now I'm going to take the 4 and plug it in for x. So I have negative 1/2, and then instead of x, I'm putting a 4 there, and we're going to solve for b. So I'm just going to do the math. Negative 1/2 times 4. All right, that's like half of 4 is 2, so it's going to be negative 2 plus b equals 6. And then to solve for b, I have to get the b alone, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Interestingly, I'm getting positive 8 on this one. And so it looks like this. So it would be positive 8. That's my y-intercept. Okay? And then the slope is negative 1/2, which means I go down 1 over 2. down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And you'll notice that when I draw that line, these two lines are perpendicular. Let me just extend this one a little so you can see it. And perpendicular means it makes 90-degree angles. So one line should be going up, one line should be going down. Let me straighten that line a little bit so you can see it a little better. So it looks like this. And they make 90-degree angles when they intersect. So the equation of the perpendicular line, I'll write it over here. We have y equals, it's the slope -1/2 times x, and then we found the y-intercept to be +8. So it should look like this. And that's how you would do it if you wanted to find the equation of a line that goes through a specific point for a parallel or a perpendicular line.